I was watching a video, and you know how there are certain words they say we shouldn't say. We shouldn't use the N word. Y'all all know we shouldn't use the B word. They say we shouldn't use the F word.
What's that word?
But I beg to differ. I think it's time we start using the F word.
Okay, come on. What's that word?
Now, before you get in trouble, I don't want to use the old F word. I think we need to make a new F word.
Favor.
The new F word is forgive.
Oh! All right.
The new F word is forgive. Someone asked me when I was putting this together, why would I bring this to some young guys? There's a good chance they don't need this yet. And I told them that's probably true. But I'd rather tell them now and let them know ahead of time.
Right.
So when it's time for them to need it, they'll have it. Because we all will have a situation where we will need to forgive somebody.
That's right.
So I like our new F word. I was watching this preacher on the video, and he was talking about the new F word. And I hope y'all don't mind, but I want to do a little exercise that he did. Do me a favor. Turn to the person sitting next to you and say F you.
F you.
Turn to the person on the other side and say F you. Some of y'all should text y'all ex-girlfriends and say, I'm at church. F you. She ain't gonna know what you're talking about, so she gonna say F you too. Text her back, say thank you. Forgive is the new F word. Now, I want to take a few moments to talk about 3 points in forgive.
All right.
I want to talk about the benefits. I want to talk about the misconceptions. And then finally, I want to talk about how to do it. All right? Now, first of all, the benefits of forgiveness. First, understand one thing. Forgiveness helps you.
Yeah.
The first benefit of forgiveness is it relieves the stress and energizes you. That mental stress that you have when you're dealing with somebody you just upset about, that anguish, that tension you have when somebody just ticked you off, you know how much energy and time it takes to hold a grudge? Forgiving them releases that tension. Did you know forgiveness helps you build healthier relationships? If you have a grudge with somebody else, that grudge can affect how you have relationship with everybody else. So one of the benefits of forgiveness is simply helping you to have a healthier relationship. Forgiveness helps you become stronger and a better person because it takes strength to forgive. It's easy to hold a grudge. That don't take much effort. But it takes true strength to forgive somebody. Also, one of the things that I recently found out is forgiveness helps you physically. They have research showing that holding a grudge causes stress, anxiety, depression, anger, hatred, sadness, and even insomnia. Holding a grudge can also cause risk of high blood pressure, heart attack, skin eruption, arthritis, migraine, and even stomach ulcers. Forgiveness can release all of that. Those are the benefits of forgiveness. Now, one of the things that we all have been taught, these crazy misconceptions, these untruths about forgiveness, and I want to knock some of them out real quick. First one I want to let you know is, not forgiving somebody does not hurt them. It hurts you. You sitting up here thinking you not forgiving them is causing them pain. They all living their life, doing what they think they want to do, not paying you any attention, and you the one sitting mad about everything. Forgiveness doesn't mean you condone what happened. The fact that you forgive means you know it's not right. Forgiveness means you are letting go. It doesn't mean you accept what happened. So understand, just because you forgive it, don't mean you accept it, don't mean you condone it. Also, forgiving doesn't mean you have to forget. You can forgive, but if you forget, there's a good chance they're going to do it to you again. And that's just crazy. You can forgive and move on with your life, but not forget what they did and how they did it. Forgiveness doesn't mean you're weak. Like I said earlier, it takes real strength to forgive. Everybody and their mama can hold a grudge. It really don't take much effort to hold a grudge. We all do it. But it takes you stepping out of your comfort zone. It takes you growing up to forgive. Another misconception is if you forgive, that means you want to reconcile with that person. That's not true. Forgiveness has nothing to do with reconciling. It has nothing to do with I want to get back with you. It has nothing to do with I want our friendship back. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is simply for you. Right. And it has nothing to do with the other person. And here's the final myth about forgiveness. Forgiveness is not the benefit of them. We always think if I forgive somebody, it lets them off the hook. If I forgive somebody, it helps them out. If I forgive, that's pointing at me.
I didn't want that.
If I forgive somebody, then it's their benefit. Forgiving benefits you. Not forgiving hurts you. We have to understand that forgiving benefits you. So the question becomes, how do I do this? How do I forgive? And there's a few techniques that you can do to forgive somebody that's hurt you. First thing you could do is express yourself. One of the things we as guys do, we hold too much stuff in. We want to be big and bad, and we don't want to tell nobody what's going on with us. And generally what happens is we hold it so long that we blow up instead of letting it out. So one of the main things for how to forgive somebody else is to express it. Now, there's a couple of ways you can express it. First of all, if it's a relationship that you're interested in still having, the best thing to do is tell that person how they made you feel. Tell that person how you felt when they did what they did. Because, see, one of two things could happen. One, they may not know they hurt you. And two, they may not want to have dealt with it until you brought it to their attention. Now, if it's a relationship that you really don't care about, you need to get through you, one of the best things that they've said you can do is to write a letter to that person. Put all your feelings down in the letter. And once you finish writing that letter, tear it up. Rip it to pieces. That becomes a symbol of you letting go. That becomes a symbol of you putting your stuff together, you've expressing yourself, but they don't need to know because it's not about them, it's about you. Get all your feelings and your hurts out and just rip that sucker to pieces and let go. Another way to learn how to forgive is to look for the positive. I truly believe that there's a lesson in everything in life. Yep. Everything that happens to us is for a reason. God knows what's going on in our life, and He knows what we need to get through. So when you have some situation where you've been hurt and you want to forgive, try to find a lesson in what's going on. Find the teaching that you need to learn to improve you. Another way to forgive, and this is probably the hardest one of all, is to have empathy. Put yourself in that other person's shoes who hurt you. One of the things we don't understand is we only know what people let us know. We only see what people let us see. And most of the time, we don't see the hurt that they have. We only see the hurt that they put out. You know, I had a situation, my wife, there was this girl in high school. Real pretty girl. She was a cheerleader. Now, most of y'all know I graduated high school well over 20 years ago. But this real pretty girl, Gardena High, just so happens her and my wife hooked up on Facebook within the last month. And they was going back and forth, and she happened to tell my wife that back in high school, first of all, her daddy was a pimp, and her mama was a prostitute. And she struggled every day just to get to school. You would have never known. This girl was the happiest person you've ever seen. But deep inside, she was struggling with what's at home. And we do that same thing, especially as guys. We learn real well and real early how to mask our feelings. How to mask the stuff that we're going through so nobody will know our business, so to say. So, and sometimes, even when somebody hurts you, we need to stop and think, well, I wonder what were they going through? What was they dealing with? Maybe their situation is a lot harder than mine, and they didn't know how to express it the way they should. And maybe that's why they did what they did. Sometimes putting yourself in somebody else's shoes could be a good thing. Another way to learn how to forgive is to protect yourself. Whatever happened, you guard and make sure you do put things in place so it won't happen again. Once again, forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. So if somebody keeps slapping you in the back of the head, you can forgive them, but don't be crazy enough to turn your back to them. Because there's a good chance they're going to slap you in the back of your head. So in forgiving, you have to protect yourself. And the final thing that I want to talk about is how to forgive is simply ask for help if you need it. You don't have to hold all this stuff inside. You don't have to deal with this all by yourself. Whether it's your parents, school counselor, a therapist, or we have one of the best here at Victory, and that's our pastor. They can counsel, they can talk, they can help you work through some stuff to help you be able to forgive. Because once again, that forgiveness, not forgiving it, is simply hurting you. And see, it becomes, whenever I'm dealing with somebody who has some issues, I ask them this question. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I'm going to say that again so y'all can get it. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? They really hurt you. Yeah, you're right. They shouldn't have done it. Yeah, you're right. They should be punished. Yeah, you're right. They should apologize and try to fix whatever they did. Yeah, you're right. But you still the one suffering. You still the one mad. You still the one not living your life. And you have to always ask yourself, how does it help me to hold a grudge? I have yet to come up with a good reason. The Bible says simply that Jesus came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. How can you have an abundant life when you're sad, or mad, or upset, or holding a grudge? I remember years ago, back, it was a group of us, we was at a club, having fun, just partying. This club happened to have 2 levels. And we were on the top level. I don't think it was a VIP section or anything, but we were on the top level. And one of my friends walked over and was like, I'm out of here. I'm like, it's just 10 o'clock. We just got here. Why are you leaving? And he said, I just saw Keisha down there. Keisha was his ex-girlfriend that broke his heart, that cheated on him. And he left. Because he saw her. That's not living. That's allowing somebody else to control your life. That's not living. Instead of just saying, Keisha, do your thing, I'm going to do my thing, he left. That makes no sense, because that means I'm allowing somebody else to be the puppet master to me.
Right.
I'm allowing somebody else to tell me where I can go, what I can do. Because if they have that much control over me when they're in a room, then they have that much control over me. Because the second they come in the room, his attitude changed. The second he saw her, and it had to have been at least 67 feet, because we was up on the second floor, and she was down at the bottom. I don't know how he saw her. But you can't let nobody have that much power over you. You can't let nobody have that much control over your life. And that's what you do when you refuse to forgive. It puts you in prison. Because I guarantee the person that you won't forgive is out living their life like nothing ever happened. But you're the one stuck. You're the one upset. You're the one mad at the world. And a lot of times, you being mad at them stops you from being in love with somebody else. A lot of times, you being mad at them stop being friends, stop you from doing things you want to do, because you too angry, and because you angry at one person, you take it out on the rest of us. And in essence, it's only one person that's getting hurt, and that's you. That's you. You have to learn how to forgive. Not for them, but for you. I don't think anybody in this room want to live a life where they're not happy. I don't think anybody wants to live a life where they're always depressed, where they're always sick, where they're always mad. But if you hold on to grudges, that's what's going to happen. And even if it's not happening now, let somebody like Keisha walk in the room, and you become a whole different person. I want to live. I want to live. I had a situation here in church where somebody came at me wrong, disrespected me. And I'll be honest, for a couple of weeks I was pissed off.
We can ride on them. We can ride on them.
It's been over. For a couple of weeks, I didn't check. There's no way you're going to run me from no place. But when I saw that person, and it was at church, when I saw that person, my attitude changed a little bit. But after a while, I was like, hold on, partner. You can't have that much control over me. Because if I let you do that, you win, I lose. And I'm not living that way. So when I see this person on Sundays, y'all know I'm standing outside. I reach my hand out just like anybody else. Because I win that way. Doing that, I win. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about what he does. I'm not worried about what he says. I'm living my life for me. And I'll let it go. And I'm going to be who I'm supposed to be no matter what. Now, what he said wasn't true. And I knew that. So I really wasn't worried about it in the first place. If that's what you believe, then so be it. But I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And I'm going to live my life. So I still had to forgive him. Because I don't want to be sitting up in it's at church. And if you can change my attitude at church, there's a big problem. If you can bring me down at church, I got issues with myself. So I got to forgive. And I can move on. And when you see me on Sunday morning, and you see me reach my hand out to everybody, you know that person is one of them. But I'm living life. I'm loving life. I want to live the abundant life that Jesus died for. And it's so funny. On tomorrow, we're going to celebrate Resurrection Day. That's the day Jesus raised from the dead. But every now and then, we need to stop and think about that Friday. What happened? See, because Resurrection Day was the best day that happened. But that Friday has to be the second best. Because that's the time when Jesus took our sins so we can be forgiven. That's the time Jesus said, I'm going to take all this on my shoulder so I can forgive you. And if he did all that for me, why wouldn't I forgive some little other stuff? I believe God has a purpose in my life, in your life. And that purpose is not to hold a grudge. That purpose is not to be sitting back mad, upset about something. That purpose is simply what he said. He said, I come that you have abundant life. But it's on you. You get to make those decisions, how you live your life. Whether you live it abundantly or you live it angrily. It's on you. I hope you choose to live an abundant life. I hope you choose to forgive whoever has hurt you, is hurting you, or will hurt you. Because if you haven't been hurt, just keep on living. It's going to come a day. And fellas, I hate to say it, there's a good chance it's going to be a female that does it. I hate to say it. The truth be told. But see, if you hold a grudge against one female that hurt you in life, it can affect the one that's trying to love you. If you too mad at Keisha, when the one that God sent you comes along, you going to take it out on her. And she going to leave you because you messed up. Being mad at Keisha. I encourage you, learn to forgive. Learn to forgive and understand it's for you. And I will leave you with this last thing that I read a quote, and I believe this with all my heart. The quote said, if you're at war with others, you can't be at peace with yourself. Please take that.
Tell me one more time, brother.
If you're at war with others, you can't be at peace with yourself. Learn that. Understand that. Believe it. And forgive. It only helps you. Any questions, comments? I like when it gets quiet because that means y'all paying attention. It's important. Go ahead.
That was powerful because my challenge is with the empathy.
It's the hardest thing.
My level of forgiveness is to cut that person off. They don't exist. And it makes it easy for me not to be concerned about someone who has no power over my life. I think about the analogy we use a lot in church about eagles and chickens, eagles and ducks. When a duck is out and about, he's always looking around because he's been hurt and challenged by so many people and things that he's always looking around. An eagle has no predator, has nothing to worry about. No one can hurt him. Right. So he's always confident in everything that he does. And it's a learning process that if you are hurt as you're young and you don't deal with it as you're young, right, it's a block and a wall. It is no block. And you start limiting places you want to go, things you want to do. I'll never play another sport again because of that coach. Exactly. I'll never do this again. And you may like doing that. Right. But you allow the unforgiveness. Right. To keep you from living that prosperous. And let me put one more thing on it. And this could be one of the hardest things to understand is sometimes the person you have to forgive has passed away. They can't ask for forgiveness ever again. But you have to forgive them because it's affecting you. It's affecting you. And as hard as it may seem, it releases you from that prison. I've never been in jail, but I know if I was in jail, I'd be happy as heck when I got out. And if you holding on to a grudge, technically you in jail. The key is sitting right on the floor. All you have to do is pick it up and unlock the door. It's all on you. There is no guard at the door. You stopping yourself from getting out. It's on you. You got to learn to forgive. Because here's the thing too. Mama can't forgive that person for you. You know how some people go and say, I like to apologize for this person? That don't work. That don't work. Mama can't forgive nobody for you. You have to be willing to forgive it because it's going to release you. Y'all feel me? No, for real. Y'all feel me? Yeah.